Hey family, one love, what is up? Jesse Tree here. How's it going? Been a little while since I did a live. Been a long while, been a number of months here. And it has been really good for my nervous system, for my understanding and sort of self-development. So I'm glad I took it, but glad to be back. Happy to say hello to y'all today and just offer a little bit of what's been going on with me, you know, just relevant to what's going on with the world. I think everyone's been going through a lot of challenge and transformation. This is a good thing. It's, hard, and if we, are disciplined, this is a opportunity for transmutation. And our culture has been defunct for a very long time, an honoring of all the diversity of peoples, culture of death in terms of the way we operate in the world, the way we take care of our bodies, the way we take care of the earth itself and the other beings here, which we are sort of charged with the responsibility of as the beings of highest consciousness here. And so I've just been ruminating on these thoughts, how to best serve. It's always the case that the highest good you can do for the all is to take care of your own heart, your own body, your own land, your own family, and your own community with the people that you are in direct contact with. So it's been refreshing to touch base with the realness of those things, doing some community projects I'm excited about, designing a potential food forest situation for our Chimayo Plaza, where I live here in northern New Mexico, is a historical place. It's people have been primarily weavers and agriculturalists in this area for 500-600 years or so. My wife is a 14th generation Chimayo weaver, and we came here to homestead and practice permaculture and learn herbalism and continue some of her traditional arts with our children. And it's been a wonderful journey, but just really glad to be able at this time to be more plugged in direct action to this community, because it's kind of insular. It's predominantly Hispanic. I'm half Latino. I'm half Panamanian. You might not guess it, but the other half is German, Scotch Irish, and French Canadian. So those characteristics come through, and people judge me as an outsider, even though I've lived here for 25 years. I'm starting to be brought in greater way. Greetings, family. Waiting for more to come in here as I wax about what's been going on and things that we're doing in the community right now. And also we're teaching classes on that note all month. We'll be offering foraging and wildcrafting and herbalism classes here in northern New Mexico. So if you're in the area and you'd like to come learn about wild foods and herbs, and I'll be sharing a little bit about prana in every class, just because I see it is really relevant, as breatharianism and the Pranic lifestyle, as it were, is essentially just natural hygiene, natural wellness practices that can be practiced by anyone at any level, at any age, with really any dietary style, though there's higher and lower in terms of furthering this advancement in this practice. So got to share this morning also at the Pranic festival in Italy with Nicholas Pilartz and various other people sharing there. That was wonderful because I've been so focused lately on permaculture, my business, my building of these buildings to start this Airbnb, that I have been less focused on sharing in the community, and it was just really nice to touch the space. So here I am. That's partly what brought me on today. Just want to offer myself in service and in exuberance of this pranic lifestyle, Something to clarify and just put out there. Being a breatharian, the pranic lifestyle, all these things are something you already are. This is just the recognition of the body electric, essentially, and the understanding that total health involves, true holistic healing involves body, spirit, and mind, regulation of the nervous system, the healing of the body, the clearing of the physical channels, the meridians, as well as clearing of psychic blockages so that the chi, the solar energy, the various names we could have for it can flow freely through the body and liberate our consciousness and our health. So that's why I'm enthused about this lifestyle as a Buddhist. I see this as just natural health practice and part of what we are and we've been in denial of. And, not to confuse, it's something that I want to make clear in my messaging is that it's not about not eating. It's about developing a very high vibration, very high state of health, an electric state in the body, and the result of which can be the further relinquishment of food. So I thought I'd do a little bit of a what I eat in a day video at this time because I haven't done that in a while either. I'm going to be sharing this out on YouTube and other places because this is my opportunity to create content. And I thought I'd take everybody through the garden momentarily and show you all the Mongolian yurt we set up and the various other things that I'm doing here to create stability, to share with you all as ways in which you could do the same, making my place a farm stay permaculture Airbnb. You could even do this in the context of a city. If you have a small piece of land, you can build a little tiny house, go through the permitting process, etc. Get yourself a small structure, build yourself a tiny food forest garden, or even just, a veggie garden, a permaculture style veggie garden. And we can create simultaneously fresh food, community resilience, create this service for people to come in and stay and be connected with land arts. I plan to offer retreats, about breatharianism and fasting and herbalism and drumming and, qigong and bringing others into, so that community development aspect, and then, thinking in terms of resilience, because in the shifting times we're in, it would be good to take this time we have now to develop in the style of like the victory gardens, community resilience through backyard gardens and food forest parks and parking lots and community garden spaces, because that's actually gonna be of the highest potential in terms of transmuting economic and environmental and health impact simultaneously. So it's something I'm really passionate about, just spreading permaculture, but finding ways to make it, because we have to join economics, human needs, and environmental sensitivity if we're going to make it through, right? So really involving all beings in our purview, in our consciousness. We want to not leave any being out and try to nurture all beings as a sort of cultural narrative, a cultural meme. So that's what I'm here to put out. So let's take a look real quick at what I'm doing. First of all, check out my new tats. I'm all excited. Earth, Wind, Fire, Water. Got water here. This is meaningful to me. This is one of my power plants, the pine tree, Jesse tree. This is I got with my son. The day he was born, all these ravens showed up. Got the sun and the moon. Can't really show it. Sun and moon. So the masculine and feminine with the yin yang. And then I have the Tibetan knot and the word prana. So this is like going from earth to prana. As a reminder, this is for me, to remind me of my path and what I'm trying to do. And I did it on my left hand to stay to the yin, to stay to the feminine, to remember that. So that's the meaning behind my tattoos. All these things though they are sort of adverse health-wise and not what I would seek in those terms, I like the homeopathic imprinting of like Om Mani Padme Hum on my body. So just to share about that momentarily. All right, let's take a look at what I'm doing these days. So I'm still doing 23-hour day dry fasts, though I've been exploring with sugar fasting principles on days that I work in a garden, because I just find it to be supportive to doing that. For years now, I've been liquiditarian 8 years, if you're not familiar with my story. Been 3 years dry fasting and drinking juice for 1 hour a day, dry fasting 23. So, in northern New Mexico, like right now, you can see maybe my thermometer says it's 96 degrees in the shade. Real hot in the shade. So in the sun, it is blasting. And when I'm out there working in it, and I'm moving rocks and etc., I did that for 3 years. I proved to myself that I can, but it's hard. So to have some coconut water, maybe have a little bit of honey, stuff like that, open up my window. So the days that I go work in a garden, which are 3 days a week, I open my window to like 3 hours, and I allow myself to have that. That's also been on my tip too lately in terms of trying to help my community, whether it's people that I know that are engrossed in carnivore, people that I know who are vegan, etc. The breatharian space, I see people getting a little bit neurotic about all of it. It doesn't feel natural, and it feels, from what I was trained at with the Juice Guru Institute, I identify it as being essentially an eating disorder, where you're so restrictive and you have to be so, and I understand, because you have to have boundaries up, and that we get through these healing situations by involving these modalities, and they are healing, they are beneficial, but when we become really rigid, then we start doing ourselves a disservice, and we're never going to be able to progress if you can't be flexible. So I've been flexible in opening up what I'm eating. I'm having a little bit of more solid. So just to show you what I got prepared for tomorrow, I have to go to work. I'm trying to maintain eating at 1:30 to explore with early time restricted feeding, because it's been shown to have the best benefits. And then I wake up at 6:30 and I'm already 18 hours dry fasted or more, and then I'll go work for 5-6 hours or what have you in a garden, and that really, I feel like, increases my metabolic sort of resilience, but then like I said, I gotta break it sometimes. So I'm trying to be done with my work and stuff and breaking fast by 1:30. I start with a half gallon of usually melon juice, especially in the summer. It's my favorite. I just love melons. They're delicious, and electrolytes and minerals and just wonderful things. Right. So that's what I'll start with. And then I make tea. This one's a big one for tomorrow because I plan on working in the garden tomorrow. So this is mint, tulsi, lemon balm, and saffron tea. So all of those are going to be nervous system sort of relaxants and soothing. So that's nice when I'm at work, And I will pour some of that tea onto my Power Shake, this is the superfood company I work with. I really like this company because they're really careful about keeping glyphosate out of their foods. They also have the only probiotic on the market that's clinically proven to clean glyphosate out of the body. If you don't know what that is, it's Roundup. It has Agent Orange. It's a strong antibiotic, and it destroys your microbiome as well as soil life. So we need to get glyphosate out of our culture. It is, an antibiotic means anti-life, right? So it is death practice. So the other thing I'm going to throw in this is Can't Beat This. This is actually a pre-workout. but since I'm dry fasting up until breaking fast, the beets are helpful. They're high in nitric oxide, so it's helpful with recuperation, though nose breathing is high in nitric oxide, so you can just do that in terms of breatharian terms. And that's what I'll do when I'm working and it's really hard. Maybe I start feeling like a little faint, or I feel a little low energy. Take some deep nose breaths. I like to use Devon's alchemy breath. Yes, constantly consciously says Purium. Yes, Purium lifestyle. It's a really good company. If you're interested, hit me up. I'm very, as someone who wildcrafts and grows and stuff, and seeking the breatharian lifestyle. I'm pretty puritanical about my foods. I want them to be very high quality, very clean, as much as possible. But the body is amazing. The body miracle can do amazing things, and it can transmute a lot. But the more you can nourish it and give it what it really needs, the more it's going to serve you and help you complete your soul mission and bring the highest good to this world. So I have that, and then the last thing I'll have, for tomorrow, I'm going to have this. I got a salad in a jar. So we got cilantro, cabbage, and cucumber, and peppers, and raisins. So I'll put a little Asian dressing on that, and this will be like in between. This is like my solid, if you were, if you will, I should say. And the last here I have is a mango chia pudding. So the chia absorbs the water and it gives like a slow release, and this helps with my dry fasting. It also is high in fiber, so that's going to feed the gut microbiome and work as an intestinal broom to clean out the bowels. It's also got, I'm working with and have been for quite a while, the low fat, high carb, raw vegan lifestyle for since 2010. Yeah, so 15 years. And hey, there's Jilly Bean. What's up, sister? Haha, old school Rising Phoenix vibes. Jilly Bean, go follow her if you want to see a really dynamic woman. She is a boxer and a mama and a dynamic health influencer and coach, and just a friend of ours through Purium. We were on the same team years ago, and that's something I really like about the company. See a couple of Purium people here is we're a family. We're really watching out for each other. We're also really doing everything we can to heal the world and heal human health in this time when those are some of the most valuable things and that are under the most threat. Is our light workers who are safeguarding our communities and doing in leadership things to transmute this sort of situation. So anyways, that's basically what I eat in a day, and it changes a little bit day by day. I do the big juice, do my Purium with my superfood teas. I do like a fruit-based kind of chia pudding thing. The chia and the flax, I do ground flax in there too, and that's like more omega-3s than the omega-6s, which the omega-6s are more inflammatory. That's why I'm fond of like the high-carb, low-fat thing. There was studies, Doug Graham, kind of got into this whole thing years ago, and that's where I first learned of it, of the 80-10-10. And he was just an athlete just trying to maximize his, potential. And he did the studies of the research, from the science, the athletic studies, and it pretty well showed, as well as like Blue Zone information, and it showed that people who are really high performing, long living, etc., their range of fat was between 3 and 15%, I think, and the range of protein was between 10 and 20%. So he just, kind of put it at 80-10-10. By default, the rest of your macros would be carbs, right? And that's what your body turns everything into, is sugars. so that your cells, your muscles work on sugar, glucose, your liver works on glucose, your brain works on glucose. So this is just getting a straight shot. And that blood sugar spike that you get, that actually keeps you more insulin sensitive. That's a natural blood sugar spike. If you combine it with fats, you get this long, it makes the spike less, but you get this long, curve, that you get this area under the curve, which is basically creates insulin resistance, because the fats have filled up the cell and they can't receive the glucose. Someone is saying, try iridesca by Exila and by Dragon Herbs or Tonic Alchemy instead of the solids. Bigu pills. Yes, you're amazing herbalist, so you can create your own. Chi Janostemma. Yeah, I do Janostemma, I do goji berry, I do astragalus, I work with reishi. Definitely hear you there, brother, and definitely Dragon Herbs is a great place for your Chinese tonic herbs, and that's something I highly suggest people who are interested in the breatharian practice utilize, is these herbs of heaven. So the herbs of, in Chinese traditional medicine, there's 3 levels of herbs. There's the herbs of man, or the herbs of earth, the herbs of man, and the herbs of heaven. So the herbs of earth might be something like, I'll just use the same example I gave earlier today because it just comes to mind, of like comfrey. So comfrey is very mineralizing, help your bones, if you've broken a bone, it'll help mend it. But if you use it too much, it will start to cause kidney stones and bone spurs and stuff, because there's so much mineral that it starts to accumulate. So you couldn't do that for a long time. The herbs of man tend to be things more like, say, broccoli or kale or something, that are a food you can use every day. They have anti-cancer properties, very healthful, but they also contain goitrogens that inhibit your thyroid functioning if you eat too much of it raw. But even if you cook it, you're going to get some of that goitrogenic action. So not something you want to eat every day, day after day, all year long. Something you want to, bob and weave back and forth from other greens and other vegetables from. And then there's the herbs of heaven, and these are going to be the tonic herbs that are going to nurture Jing, Qi, and Shun. So those are like your genetic fortitude, or the candle wax. Your Qi is like the prana, or the electricity, and then the Shun is the spirit, or the light that comes off of your Qi, or of your candle. And so these herbs will nurture at least one, if not all 3 of the 3 treasures, and it will be something you can eat every day without contraindication. So think things like astragalus and reishi mushrooms and goji berries, Gynostemma. There's a wide array in there. They have various applications based on your thermodynamics and sort of balancing your dosha type, so to speak. So that's something to just work with. And if you want to get in touch with me about a consultation, I'm a certified juice therapist and herbalist. If you want to work with some health conditions, or you have some goals, or you're seeking breatharianism, bigu state, that's what he's speaking of. That's the Taoist. The Taoist and many other, the Vedic scientists and others knew about this life of breatharian living, and it's part of their tradition and part of something you can cultivate and activate. It's one of the lower city powers. There's things that we can do that are even greater, but the greatest one is a loving, open heart. So anyway, I digress. That's the whole thing with herbs. I feel you there. I'm where I'm at right now, where I've kind of like taken a little bit of flexibility back into some solid foods and stuff like that, is I needed to. I was being way too hard on myself, and this way toward bigu state is something that comes, as you probably know, through more of a wu wei attitude of non-doing and allowing what comes up naturally to come up. It'll come through, you know, and that what you can do easily and consistently becomes something that you can use to transform your life. But as my brother says, love is like a fart. If you have to push, it's probably shit. A force causes, you know, breakage. It causes problems. So we're not going there with this. This is a loving self-care practice and a loving way to be in the world. So okay, so after that, let me just take you around the garden momentarily, and I'll wrap this up. Thank you for all of you who sat with me through this. Garden, I gotta say, is not the most vibrant it's ever been. We haven't had acequia because we've had the acequia problems with our acequia that we need to bring a backhoe in and clean the pressa like half a mile back. Clean the ditch half a mile back to the pressa, which is the place where we turn on the ditch. So we're just running off drip irrigation, and it has been hot. Like I said, it's 96 degrees in the shade today. So we have this wonderful pear tree here, and it's making pears even still in the heat. So got a little mushroom garden here that hasn't been really doing much of anything, obviously. Got this apple tree and plum, and then a lot died back here. We lost a tree, we lost some shrubs. Just the heat has just been punishing, you know. Just a quick little walkthrough. Over here we got sea buckthorn and butterfly bush. This is a false indigo to feed nitrogen. This is one of my goji berry plants, so that's something that I work in to like the smoothies or to teas. This is jujube date. This is a harmonizing herb in Chinese traditional medicine. So you want to, you know, everything is a combination of yin and yang. Some herbs are more yin, some herbs are more yang. They have different thermodynamics, and this can be something that will harmonize those dynamics. Got currant here, another apple. This is pecan, hardy pecan. Got some top bar beehives over here, and hardy almond. Got elderberry and peach down there. Here's my little corn and dill, and got some echinacea. That's a nice herb for, of course, immune stimulation. You can use the aerial parts as a tea or the root. Got sage here, culinary sage. And the nice thing with, I'm always looking for herbs like this. This is, you know, sea buckthorn. You can maybe see the berries coming on this plant back here. And this is simultaneously a nitrogen fixer, so it's building the soil, but it also has these berries that help your body produce stem cells. So you can, as an herbalist, we often use them in skincare products because it can help rejuvenate the skin, but you can also use it internally. And here we just got some tomatoes and some basil and some tulsi and a little bit of cannabis. And then over here is Hoshu Wu. So this is another Chinese herb, a longevity herb, super high in resveratrol. That's just a super quick run through. There's other plants and things in there, but it's really hot. Let me show you these other things we're building here. So, you know, this idea of creating resilience and sustainability, particularly with respect to things like land and gardens and buildings and stuff like that. These are going to be sort of foundation pieces, you know, for the changes in the world, I feel like. And here my cat is hungry, so I'm going to wrap up. Here's our cob cottage that we built with our own two hands. Very cheaply. I think this cost me about $900. And that was mostly the pond liner, the wood stove, and the solar panels. Everything else was upcycled, gifted, or is just mud. And over here, is our, here, let's see if I can get it better. This is the spiral garden. So we got sorghum planted in there right now. We're going to see about trying to make sorghum syrup, since I've been doing a lot of, sort of sugar, high carb stuff. Here is going to be the bathroom with composting toilet and a iron foot claw tub with, propane solar shower, so people can kind of, relax and soak. And we're going to do a cold plunge bath out here too. But this is just pallets that are framed up on posts, and then we cover it with mud, and straw. So super cool. Really love building with mud. I feel like we are meant to live naturalistically, that we're the only being that pays to live on the planet. All the other animals just make homes and eat from nature, and are sort of more in the system, the ecological Gaian mind, even, because something that Buddha talks about is developing a forest mind. Yes, kitten, I'm going to finish up and then I'll get you some food. You guys want to meet Sebastian? This is Sebastian. He's my kitten. Hi, Sebastian. Oh, boy. He kind of looks like a Tao. And we were confused whether he was a girl or a boy for a while. He's a boy, though. Be right back, Sebastian. And this is Bodhi. Say hi, Bodhi. Blessings, family. Welcome. Just going to wrap up here, show you the last thing, and take care of my animals. So this was really fun. I'm really grateful to the community who came out to help me build this. It took a while. My buddy Callan, who helped me create the platform. We made the platform out of pallets, but here's my Mongolian yurt, finally erected. So excited about this. This has been a dream I've had, probably for 20 or 30 years, to have one of these. And I just love Mongolian culture, Bhutanese culture, Tibetan culture. Love the art, love the emphasis on mindfulness and loving kindness. So welcome in here. It's pretty cool. I love it. It's like much cooler in here than it is out there. It's made with yak felt. So the yak felt is super insulative. It's got 2 layers, and it's like mold resistant, and it's pretty well fireproof. It starts burning at 4,000 degrees. So we're going to have, you kind of see up here, there's going to be a wood stove going up through there. So I can have people out here in the winter time. They can come ski, go to the hot springs, come back, chill in the yurt, So this is it. Going to go in clockwise. Oh, no, that's the wrong way. That's counterclockwise. Give you the tour in clockwise fashion. That's what the Buddhists do, is like auspicious, just circumambulate, building clockwise. So this is it. I've been loving it. It's got all this beautiful art. Mr. Kitten. Let's see. Sebastian thinks it's cool too. So that's it. But hope you got something from this today. Thanks for taking your time to take a tour with me and to hear about my little end of the world here. And sending you all the blessed, family. And let me know if there's anything I can do for you. If you're watching this on YouTube, there'll be some links in the description for, our newsletter, our classes, donation, etc. Or to hit me up for a coaching call. So, all right. Be well, family. Oh, and if you're on Instagram or Facebook, if you want to do a coaching call, just DM me. So, okay, peace. Be well.